From things you don't notice on escalators to the little things on planes that help them fly, join me as we explore secrets hidden in everyday things. 10. The secret room in Mount Rushmore. Okay, this isn't an everyday thing for most people, but this monument has a secret you'll love, trust us. Mount Rushmore is one of the most important landmarks in American history, honoring 4 presidents: Washington, Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Lincoln, that helped found, expand, and preserve America. And there's been plenty of tall tales about what's actually within the massive mountain. However, if you've heard rumors about a secret room within, that's actually correct. The room itself is within Abe Lincoln's section of the place, and it was designed by the actual sculptor of Mount Rushmore, so no government conspiracies here. Sorry. Anyway, the sculptor made a secret room with a rather beautiful purpose, for he wanted to contain the entire history of America within this room, likely so that if anything happened to the country, these artifacts would likely remain. The sculptor had parts of the room dedicated to the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and more. He died before being able to complete the history of America, but others took up the cause within the room. Now, if you're wondering how you can get into the room, you can't. It's locked, and because of its location, you can't get there by foot. Still, the room has been well documented, and you can probably find plenty of YouTube videos detailing it from the inside. But because of its nature and how well it blends into the grand design of Mount Rushmore itself, you'd be forgiven for not noticing it at all. Number 9. Triangles on planes. How many of you out there fly a lot? Do you pay attention to the interior of the plane as you sit down and look around it? If you do, you might notice that on the walls of the plane you're on there's a set of black triangles perfectly across from one another about midway down the plane. They're small and aren't meant to be noticed, but they are indeed there. But what could the purpose of them be? Actually, it's a very simple thing to explain. You see, those triangles are meant to give the person sitting there the best view of the wings of the plane. Why is that? So that they can look out them and make sure that the wings are okay and that there isn't something going on with them. And of course, should the pilot, co-pilot, or one of the staff think that something is going wrong, they can head to the seats and take a look for themselves. Ironically enough, a nickname for these seats is the William Shatner seats, because it was in these seats that Shatner sat during the legendary Twilight Zone episode Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, where Shatner's character was sitting in the seats with the triangles and noticed that there was something on the wing. So next time you're on a plane, see if you can notice the little triangles just above the windows. You'll know what they're for if you do. 8. Apartment in the Eiffel Tower. Paris is by far and large one of the most popular places in the world, and there are many secrets and wonderful things to look for in the city if you know where to gaze. But one of them quite literally towers above the rest. In this case, I'm talking about the Eiffel Tower. You might look at the tower and think, what could be hidden there? Well, an apartment actually, one that was purposefully built by the tower's creator, Gustave Eiffel. And not only did he build the tower and the apartment, he lived in that place for years. Imagine the view he had both day and night, being able to see all of Paris from what must have felt like the top of the world. Now, while it's kind of a secret now, it wasn't back then. In fact, a ton of people offered to buy the apartment from Gustave, and we're talking high-ranking, wealthy people. But he wouldn't do it. I can't blame him, can you? Interestingly enough, Gustave hosted many parties in his apartment on the Eiffel Tower and brought many famous people to it. And while you can live in it today, you can't go and see it for yourself. I just added another destination point to your Paris vacation, didn't I? You're welcome. Number 7. Backpack whistle. For many years of your life, the backpack that you wear is one of the most important things you own. For as you go to grade school, middle school, and high school, you find yourself in need to carry a lot of things, and with each grade you advance into the need to keep your backpack near you is even more important. But as times have evolved and the world has gotten more dangerous, a subtle change to backpacks were made so that parents and potentially mature kids, if they knew about this, could alert people to danger should they need it. Because if you look at the modern backpacks of today, you'll find yourself look eventually at the buckles that are used to help strap the backpack to yourself so that you don't lose it, right? But if you look closer at that buckle, you're going to see that there is a secret whistle hidden in it. Pretty cool, right? This whistle may seem small, but it's enough to get the attention of people nearby and prove that they need help. And the last thing that a thief or a potential predator needs is a loud noise being sounded to alert people to something going wrong. I'm sure some people will say that this is overkill when it comes to keeping kids safe, but when it comes to the world we live in, it's better safe than sorry. Before we continue to show you secrets hidden in everyday things, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss any of our weekly videos. 6. Fruit stickers. If you go to the store and you go and get some fruit that you have to pick up by hand like an apple, an orange, some bananas, a mango, or something of the like, you're going to notice a very tiny sticker placed on the fruit that isn't very clear as to its purpose. What's more, while it has a barcode on it for scanning, it doesn't have the price tag. So why are the stickers like this? Well, it tells you more than you think. You just need to pay attention to it. You see, on the sticker there are names and signs that tell you the country of origin of this particular fruit, as well as the company who made it, which is very standard fare. But if you look closer, you'll notice a 4 or 5-digit number that doesn't seem to belong, and thus seems like a random thing to have on it, but it's not random at all. If you pick up a fruit and a 4-digit number starting with a 4 looking right back at you, then this is a fruit that has been sprayed with pesticides over its life. If you have a 5-digit number starting with an 8 staring at you, then this is a fruit that has been genetically modified at one point or another in its life. Or if you have a 5-digit number with a 9 as its first number, then it was a pure and organically grown fruit. See? It may seem random, but it's actually giving you vital information to help you know what you're putting in your body. And more people nowadays are aiming to know even more about what they're eating and where they're coming from, so this sticker helps them with that. Number 5. Airplane hooks. Yes, we're about to go back into the skies above with another look at airplanes. But trust me when I say that this one is much more vital than looking out a window, though you will need to look out of the window to find these things at first. You see, one of the most important things on a plane is its safety features. People already are afraid of flying because they're in a big hunk of metal flying in hundreds of miles an hour. So yeah, you need safety features like seatbelts, safety position in case of a crash, oxygen masks, and more to keep yourself safe. But there's another safety feature on the plane that most don't know about. On the wings, there are these yellow hooks. They're about a third of the way down the wings, and they don't seem to be doing anything but messing with the aerodynamic path of the wings. So what could be so important that they are literally blocking the plane from being more aerodynamic? Simple. If the plane was to crash into the water and was able to float enough, the passengers would need to get out. These hooks are to fasten ropes onto the plane and the emergency escape raft in order to allow them to get a good grip onto something as they disembark and head to the rafts. Without the rope, the people risk slipping and sliding off the plane and into the waters, which can result in all sorts of issues. So while it may seem random, it might be the thing that saves your life should something go wrong with your flight. 4. The lines in notebooks. When you went to school, one of the things you no doubt had to have for class were notebooks, and on those notebooks were all sorts of lines that you used to do your writing, correct? One of the most noticeable ones was a dotted red line that is on the left side of the page. If you're in the modern times, you'll know that this is the starting point of papers where you are expected to write and then write again when you begin the next line. It's a good use, but it wasn't why it was created. You see, the lines were created for margins, but not for the writers. Rather, it was more of a margin for error kind of thing. Human error, you ask? Not exactly. You see, back in the olden days, one of the biggest problems was rats. Rats would sneak into people's houses and homes and eat just about anything they laid their eyes on. And one of the things they loved the most was paper. They would eat book pages, manuscripts, and more. Many key texts were lost because of this. So, when this got to be too much, a new kind of marginalized paper was made. Writers would do their works between these margins, and then if the rats came, they would at first eat the parts of the part of the paper that were outside the written works, thus giving writers and other people a chance to see that the rats were here and thus save the works. Pretty creative, huh? Number 3. Car headrests. There are so many features in a car that you'd be surprised by all the care and detail that goes into making every single car model that goes out to the public special. But one of the most special things by far is the car headrests. These things are vital in all sorts of ways, including one you may not realize. You see, at its most basic, Car headrests are perfect for things like resting your head and giving you a comfortable position to drive in while you do a long trip. It also can protect you if something in the back suddenly comes flying forward if you brake too hard. But the car companies that made them knew that they could save your life in another way. You see, if your car was to suddenly go into the water and the only way out of the car was through your window, the car headrest can be pulled out and used as a weapon to break the windows. It'll take you a couple shots, but if you do it right, it'll break and you can swim out. We recommend telling this feature to your family and friends so that they know about it. 2. Bubble bath. I sense that a lot of you will be taking bubble baths after this one. Most people love doing bubble baths because they are fun, relaxing, and a nice change of pace from regular baths, right? Kids love playing in the bubbles, but if you're an adult, you should consider doing it too. Why? Because bubble baths are meant to be more than just fun. They're meant to help you get the most out of your bath. You see, the bubbles actually act as an insulating layer on top of the water, which means that if you do a bubble bath, you're actually going to be keeping your bath water warmer for longer. And that means more relaxation time before you have to get out before the water gets cold. Number 1. Rumble strips. Okay, I'm sure some of you know this one, but it bears repeating for those who don't. Mainly, if you go on the highway, you'll notice that just outside of the lane you're driving in are bumps in the road of some kind. These are known as rumble strips. Some roads even have them going across the lane you're driving in at times. And when you go across them, the car lets you know you're across them, which seems like an annoyance, but it's actually meant to save your life. Because especially for the ones just outside the road, if you do hit them, the sound and feeling of hitting them is meant to wake you up, or at the very least give you a jolt to ensure that you are aware you're drifting away. Sleeping drivers cause all sorts of accidents, so these are meant to make sure they have as little as possible. Thanks for watching, everyone! What did you think of these secrets hidden in everyday things? Can you believe the simple yet expansive things that are out there if you know where to look? Did you know about some of these things yourself before you came to this list? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.